I'm not shooting there. No way. What's going on? Here at TFC, mate, got fighters class going on here. Benny Johnston is in charge. Had a good chat with Max Meridius Davidson. We're going to see who else we can find. It's a big gym with some big names. Come with me, let's go for a walk and we'll see who else we can find within these hallowed walls. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Jay. How are you, mate?
Good to see you. How's things?
Yeah, it's fantastic, mate.
What are you up to?
What am I up to? Just finished training.
Just finished training?
Yes, sir.
First and foremost, John Aiello, ladies and gentlemen. The one and only. Daddy Ravioli, they call you?
They do.
Mate, I'm about to bounce out to Meadowbrook to get something to eat. You want to come? Catch up?
Sounds good to me.
Let's do it.
Well, it's...
So what's this area?
Yeah, 100%. This is Meadowbrook.
Is Meadowbrook nice?
Define nice.
Like Burley Hill nice?
No.
No?
Nice.
All right. Southport nice.
A little bit
Not
less.
Cheesecake Shop Southport, like TSS Southport.
Ooh, nah, it's more like Australia Fair Southport.
Australia Fair Southport. Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Nah, it's... Bro, like the first time I came here,
Yeah.
we got juice at this place inside.
Yeah.
And we were sitting there, and it's just hilarious because Benny's sitting there talking to us. We're all just like, I don't know, just after training, sitting there having a bit of fun, and this guy walks in. He's like, like talking to himself and like having a bit of a thing. And he looks at Benny, and he's like, and Ben just goes, "Not me, mate."
Big
and he
mistake.
goes,
Yeah.
and just keeps fucking walking.
Oh, yeah.
And literally straight after that, we literally see a kid come outside, pull a Gatorade out of his pants. It was like, oh wow. And this is when we'd first started training here. So I was like, okay, so this is the area.
Yeah.
This is,
yeah. Welcome to Meadowbrook, a lovely area here in Logan City. Can't wait to get a juice. Are we getting juice?
Yeah, we'll get you a juice. I'll get some.
And hopefully meet some of the locals as well. Speaking of locals, good to see you again, sir.
Good to see you too, brother.
Thank you for the open invitation to Meadowbrook. Should we wait for this? Well, this is a nice area. Look, what's that? Oh, I thought it was a Beamer. It's a Kia.
That is a car that is driving out of the area as fast as it can.
I thought it was a BMW. False alarm.
No. Look at this. Look at a beautiful park.
Oh, there's an Audi. Yeah. Yellow line.
But that's not.
Yeah. Yellow line. That's all right. Meadowbrook Woolies.
This
awesome
is...
chicken. Do you eat any awesome chicken?
I have tried it before. Can stand by. You'll probably like it. I imagine you're going to try it after.
Might have to. Might have to.
I recommend it.
Might have to.
This is the local for the boys. Unless you go to the Hyperdome.
Yeah.
But that place is confusing, so
I mean, everyone else goes to the Hyperdome. When you come here to Meadowbrook, this almost feels like it's a bit more exclusive. Would you say that?
It's niche.
Yeah, niche. Pacific Fair niche, or?
Do you remember Lygon Plaza?
I do remember Lygon Plaza.
that's how niche
going back.
it is.
That's going back a fair while.
Yeah, that's how niche it is.
Alrighty.
Well, this is the juice shop.
Yeah.
But I am actually, no shit, gonna grab a drink.
All right. Well, why don't you go grab a Woolworths drink? I'll grab a juice. And then maybe we can come sit at one of these tables.
We'll reconvene.
All right, bro. See you soon. No, I don't usually drink juice. I'm more of a thick shake guy. For example, Nutella infused Biscoff thick shake with extra texture. That's kind of my order, or daily coffee as you'd speak. But look, I'm going to grab something. Hello, how are you? There it is, right there in front of me. Can I get a freshly squeezed orange juice, please? A jumbo, yeah, just jumbo. Thank you. Orange juice, vitamin C. We're coming into winter. It's getting cold. You need to boost your immune system. You don't want to get sick. Great way to lose weight, getting sick. Not a great way to fight. What's that line from here it is, ready? I'm somewhat of a nutritional expert myself.
I'm something of a scientist myself.
Shout out to Green Goblin. Here he is, what'd you get? That's what you went in there and got.
I went and got a sugar-free Monster.
You mean to tell me that this is more healthy than a juice?
Well, it's got less calories.
Less calories, less sugar, less healthy.
Less weight.
Less weight, okay. All right, you got me on that one. All right.
I would have got Musashi Energy, but the cheap dogs don't have it, so.
Really? Musashi, I've never had Musashi Energy. I've had plenty of these. I used to have the zero, yeah, well I also used to have a zero sugar one. What flavour is that?
This is Ultra Fantasy Ruby Red.
Ultra Fantasy Ruby Red.
Yeah. I've never tried it.
Is it good? I'm okay, thank you.
It's not bad.
Thank you. See,
Whoa.
Thank you so much.
What did you get?
Appreciate it, thank you. Yeah, absolutely. What's this? Tropical splash, juice, smoothies, and I like bubble tea. My favourite bubble tea, brown sugar with rainbow jelly and pearls. If I'm ever here again, I'll come to see you. Thank you. See you later.
He's not going to be here again.
I got a Mandy's bubble tea. Mandy's bubble tea on the GC. So you mean to tell me that that is better than this?
For my purposes right now, yes.
All right. Well, does this have sugar in it? Fructose. Fructose isn't sugar, is it?
You're shitting me, right?
No, fructose isn't sugar. Sucrose is sugar.
Well, what's in it? What is that?
It's just oranges.
Yeah, that's got sugar in it.
Sorry, so take a seat, please.
We sitting, yeah?
Yeah, we're going to sit here.
Beautiful.
We can sit here.
I'm not wearing undies, so I'll try not to get a crotch shot.
All right, well, here we go. Hey, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, and again, thank you for your time. We know you're busy with camp. I said this to Max, we've joked around a lot this morning, but in all seriousness, you do have a fight coming up on May the 3rd. Excited to say the least?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, incredibly. Incredibly, man. No, you know what it's.
I do.
I've told you what my plans are for this sport. So yeah, this is just another step in that direction of being the best.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is this an amateur fight, this one coming up? Still an amateur?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
10 as an amateur now? Or would this make it 10?
No, this will be 6 and 1. This will be my eighth. My 8th amateur. Might have one more after. It just depends on how it goes and what Benny and Darcy say. But yeah, it'll be my 8th amateur.
How's camp going at the moment? Obviously, we're only 3 weeks now. Jeez, that went quick. 3 weeks out.
Yep.
What's the focus for training? Are you focusing, obviously, cutting weight with a zero sugar monster?
Yep.
But obviously, weight cutting is one of it. Are there any certain techniques you guys are working on in the gym in preparation? Not to give too much away, but it's just me and you.
Yeah, okay. It's just me and you. There's definitely a structure around what we're drilling and what we're learning right now based on my opponent, based on Maxi's, based on potentially Jonas's.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give too much away, but there are certain things. We look at the fights. We look at the fights that other people have had, and although there might not be a lot of tape on Perry, there's still certain things I've noticed, and I had a bit of a stalk on his Instagram, found all of his highlights, screen recorded all of them. I'm meticulous when it comes to that stuff.
Meticulous, bit of a stalker.
Yeah.
Yep.
100%. I also like to make it personal.
Did you personal?
Yeah.
Really? I didn't take you for someone that likes to make things personal. I thought you were purely business, John.
I'm purely business, but I like to separate when I'm fighting.
Yeah.
I kind of like to remember that they would take everything from me if they had the opportunity. And that's how you make it a little bit personal.
Okay. Well, that's good. I mean, look, again, you've had a lot of success in your early amateur career, and obviously whatever helps that is an advantage to you. We had a good chat in Sydney about your plans in this sport from start to finish. And obviously you got into this sport, you have a career in musical theatre. Why the transition to MMA? Because from what we've seen from your musical theatre background, you are a bit of an entertainer. You speak very well, you present very well, and you can also fight. Why go from that to this?
Well, I suppose, it's the transition of performance.
Yep.
It's all based on performance. I love showing up and showing out. That's always been me. Music and musical theatre is not something that's completely gone, but that's something you can do later in your life.
Yeah.
Fighting is not something you can do later in your life. If you're going to do this, you've got to go hard, you've got to go fast, you've got to make sure you've ticked all the boxes. Because especially in the lighter weight classes, bro, like you only have a run until you're maybe 33. Shout out to Volk, who proved that that's not always the case. But for most humans, that's how that works. You hit the 33 mark, you've peaked, and then you start dropping off. So I'll come back to it, but in all honesty, I've had the best feelings of performing. Like I've had people screaming for me when I'm like shirtless, jumping around, singing. It doesn't compare to the feeling of knowing you can kill another human being in front of other people. Because that's what it is, it's simulated murder. As psycho as that sounds.
Let me just take a sip of this orange juice.
Mate, go for it.
I like the comparison that you make between performing arts and performing in sports. You feel like the feelings that MMA gives you surpasses or trumps what you felt when you were performing in theatre, or are there similarities that you can derive from the two?
There's definitely similarities. Definitely that feeling of like all eyes are on you. They're just zoned in on you. They're taken aback by what you're doing. They're thoroughly enjoying themselves, and they feel like they're involved in it.
Yeah.
That's what it is, and that's why I put a lot of stock in like kind of showing off my personality as well, because I feel like the more people know you, the more inclined they are to be invested in the outcomes of your fights. If they don't know you, if you're a bland person, or at least you appear that way, you mean nothing.
Yeah.
Like you mean nothing to the people watching. They'll be like, I don't care about this guy.
Yeah.
I don't know if he has a soul.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, how can they care if you don't, right? Yeah.
exactly.
No, that's good. That's a good analogy. Good. In terms of your goals for what you've got, you're an amateur now. You're coming up to your 8th fight, you said. Mm-hmm. Do you plan? And obviously, we're not going to put a time limit on this, but do you plan on turning pro and making a run at an Eternal Championship to progress onto the UFC? Are you someone that looks ahead to the future, or are you someone that just takes one fight at a time, and I'm going to let this journey lead me to where destiny will lead me? Or do you have like a blueprint as to where you want to go from now and as far as you can see ahead?
I'm sure you remember our conversation at the hotel.
I think I may remember a couple of things, if you'd like to refresh my memory.
Mate, I will happily refresh your memory. Anything for you, T. Anything for MCT. Mate, I'm going to be the best in the world. I'm going to be... It'll be a pretty... I think the last few years have been a bit of a seesaw thing. I didn't have everything I needed right beneath me. Now I do. It's all in front of me. I have no reason not to be the best version of myself every time I get out there. Yeah. Plan is, the way I see it, potentially one more amateur after this, just depending on what the performance looks like, what I end up showing, because it'll be between Ben and Darcy. They'll make that decision for me. I'm not really like, guys, put me in pros now. I'm okay with them being like, maybe one more amateur, you know? But once I am pro, I'll be going, the way I see it, probably a couple of fights in Eternal, just all in Eternal, I think. I think it's pretty clear at this point that Eternal is the gateway to the UFC in Australia. Yeah. And I love fighting for their promotion. Or Proving Grounds if I'm amateur, maybe one there. But progressing from Eternal to an Eternal Championship, similar to Seb Soleil, then find myself somewhere on the Contender Series or Road to UFC. Any of those platforms, then I'll get in the UFC and, mate, I'll make a splash like no other Aussie. That's the plan.
Firstly, I think it's a great plan, and I think when you mention guys like Seb Soleil and former champions Casey O'Neill, Stephen Erceg, JDM fighting for the belt in a couple of weeks, they've laid a great platform, haven't they? Because if you look, and I'm sure you'd agree with this, if you look, say, 10 to 15 years ago, you had to go overseas. You had to go overseas to seek your opportunities. Now, with the pathway, obviously, that you said that Eternal is providing pros to progress to the UFC, but not just that, amateurs to have experience and progress and make that transition quite easily to becoming a professional. Because for you yourself, you'll have 8 or 9 amateur fights. That's a wealth of experience you probably couldn't get back in the day, so to speak.
If the question was, is that a privilege? The answer is yes.
Yes.
100%. Yeah. I think I've had an amateur career like no one else's. The fact that all of my amateur fights have been at the weight class I will compete at, bar one, against Nikita Lapsevich. I fought at featherweight. Yeah. But they've all been at bantamweight, so I've done a real cut. I've fought under the bright lights on a real production with a real crowd. And it's been streamed in the highest quality, the highest quality platform you can get in Australia. I don't think I don't think you can pay for that experience. The fact that all of your fights are, instead of them being 5 minutes, they're 3 minutes, but it's a complete simulation of what I'm preparing for in my pro career.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, it's a great privilege to be fighting for Eternal.
Absolutely. You've had most of your fights on the GC.
Yes, sir.
You're fighting in Logan. Big smile on your face. I can't imagine as to why. What does it mean to you to be fighting in Logan? Obviously, you're from the Gold Coast, but I said this to Max. It almost feels like that Logan City, and especially on May the 3rd at the Logan Entertainment Centre, it will feel like fighting at home for you, won't it?
It is home.
Yeah.
That's the reality. Fighting on the GC, obviously the GC is where I live, but I travel every day a fair whack to come train at the best gym in Australia, in my opinion. I had a conversation with Ben about it, because when I came back to training, I was off for a little bit, and I came back and he was like, is it too soon for you, mate? Like, is Logan, is this card, we can just push you back and get you to fight on the Gold Coast? And I was like, excuse me. I was like, Benny, you don't understand what it means to me to be fighting in Logan. Yeah. Please, get me on this card. Let me show up and show out for TFC. Let me fucking pull up in a German.
Pull up in a German. Your crew look nervous.
Come on, surely you get that reference.
Enemy, yes, I do.
Yes, good man.
yes, I do. We are in Logan.
That's it, mate. Coming in hot with a bang.
Well, it's got to be exciting because obviously you've got your teammates fighting on that card.
Yes, sir.
But you've quickly become, I guess on the Gold Coast, a lot of people know you, but I certainly think you'll be the hometown hero, essentially, when you walk out in Logan City on May the 3rd. In terms of your opponent, how do you see this fight going down, and any predictions for, I guess, the finish or the win?
Look, I don't want to give too much away, but I said to Luke Trahair on the Eternal Insiders podcast yesterday, it's funny because we're kind of the same guy. We're boxy wrestlers. That's kind of how it is. So he predominantly stays one stance. I switch up a bit, but I don't know. I have a feeling we're going to meet in the middle. It's going to be a bit of a clash, and it's going to be who's smarter. It's going to be a match of who's smarter, but I'm always smarter. So I see a finish in the second round. I won't say how, but I see an opening for something in the second round.
Awesome. Well, mate, thank you very much for your time. No kidding. I mean this with all sincerity. I have enjoyed my time in Logan, especially here in Meadowbrook, and especially to catch up with yourself. Like you said, it's not just your performing arts background, but who you are as a person that I think people like to enjoy to see when you perform inside the cage, and I'm sure a lot of us can't wait to see you perform on May the 3rd. So all the best to you, sir.
Mate, look out for me May 3rd, and look out for me in the pros, because as my girl Sabby C says, I can do a lot with 15 minutes.
John Aiello, ladies and gentlemen. Cheers. You sure there's no sugar in that?
Mate,
I'm going to send that to Ben.
it's got no sugars. It's got 7 grams of carbohydrates.
7 grams of carbs.
14 calories. Bro,
No,
we were in Sydney and you were like getting soft drinks that were full sugar.
I was getting...
And then you were like, wait, hold on.